Lesson number 2.5. Book Review Swami and Friends by R.K.NARAYAN. On page number 69. A little bit about the book. Anything I mention about the book can be mistakenly understood as spoilers, so I would rather give a glance into the book without mentioning any events or plots of the story. So, Swami is a mischievous little kid of about 10 years old and living in the era where India was under the British rule. Like most kids of that age, Swami is a kid who cannot stay at one place and absolutely hates school. Even worse, mathematics. School is absolutely nightmare. Anyway, the story unfolds around the happenings of this kid and how he constantly gets into trouble and gets a good beating from his teacher, Swami, from his father. Swami is a talkative little kid and thinks that's his way of facing life, talking himself out of everything. But he does learn the truth and harsh way. As many teens back then, all he wants to do is play under the sun, kick something, climb a tree, break something, and hurt somebody, unlike kids today. This, in fact, was and in most part of India still is the life of a typical boy growing up. Technology isn't big in a kid's life. All they want is to play. How in what way is Swami a typical boy in his growing years? In this regard, Narayan gets deeply into the working of Swami's 10-year-old mind, explaining exquisitely how he thinks and what his perspective of the world is. The reader does feel like Swami and gets very attached with the character as the story progresses. That's the magic of Narayan. So listen carefully explanation. Anything the writer says that I don't mention about the book can be mistakenly understood. So he said I would rather give a glance into the book, not mentioning events and or plots of the story. So Swami is a mature skilled little kid of about 10 years old and living in the era in the past where India was under the British rule at that time. So like most of the kids of that age, Swami is a kid but who cannot stay at one place, or he changes the places and he hates school, even worse mathematics. So school is his absolutely a very frightening experience, and this story unfolds around the happening of this kid, and he constantly gets into trouble and gets a good beating from his father. So Swami is a talkative little kid and thinks that his way of facing life or talking himself out of everything. Now he does learn the truth the harsh way. As many teens back then, all he wants to do is play under the sun, kick something, climb a tree, breaking something like this. And so, uh, this is the life of a typical boy growing up, and technology isn't a big in a kid's life, and all they want is to prevent normal function and cause damage. So in what ways is Swami a typical boy in his growing years? For this question, in this regard, Narayan gets deeply into the working of Swami's 10-year-old mind. He is explaining exquisitely he thinks and what is in a pleasing manner of the world is. So the reader does feel like Swami and gets very attached. The character as the story progresses, and that is the magic.